Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Shelf-Induced Chaos with Elle. That's me, and it's my first ever booktube video. In honour of this being my very first video, I'm going to do the newbie booktuber tag, so let's make a start, I guess. So in true Elle fashion, I've already switched to AirPods because my husband just happened to mention that I sounded tinny, and can't be having that. So let's make a start. Why did I start this channel? Well, to answer it honestly, I've had a Bookstagram page going since well before the pandemic, and all I talk about in most aspects of my life are books. So I thought rather than doing people's heads in, I would talk to people that actually were interested and wanted to listen to what I had to say. I broached the subject with a couple of my Bookstagram friends, and with tons of encouragement from some really good friends, they gave me the push that I needed to actually get this page started. Just want to give a little bit of a shout out to Lauren Loves Books and Alicia's Booked Up as well for all of your advice over the last 48 hours on how I even make a start with this. Yes, I'm a highly distractible individual, and there may be times when I am looking away or being distracted or messing around. It's just who I am. You will get used to me. Question 2. What are some of the fun and unique things that I can bring to Booktube? Well, I consider myself a very, very honest individual. Honesty is the best policy, so you will always get the truth from me. I am probably what people would consider quite a sarcastic person, but with all the best love and intent. I take the mick out of myself probably more than I take the mick out of anyone else, and obviously I do take the mick out of plenty of books. I am the best friend to somebody who is trying to enter the reading world, being able to provide a little bit of advice and guidance on someone who may not necessarily be a reader but wants to be a reader. My husband is a gamer, he is not a reader, and I've been trying to get him to read books for a long time. The physicality of reading books is something that he really struggled with, so I recently got him into audiobooks, which proved a really suitable alternative for him, and he is really enjoying that. I can draw a lot of parallels from life and from my experiences to provide people with recommendations, thoughts and opinions on, what they could use to sort of get themselves into reading. I have a little bit of an interesting brain, we could possibly say. I have ADHD, and with that comes one, as I've mentioned, being highly distractible, but also a little bit of a fast-paced brain. So sometimes this might seem really structured, and sometimes it might seem like a confusing rant, but we will go with it together. The fact that me and my husband are, yes, absolutely gamer guy, reader girl trope is not lost on me whatsoever. And absolutely, yes, he is a golden retriever and I am black cat, so yeah, predictable as anything. What am I most excited about with regards to this channel? I think 1, making some new bookish friends, 2, putting my thoughts out there in a little bit more of a structured way, and hopefully thoughts that people might resonate with in some way. Hopefully building up my channel to be able to provide a little bit of support and guidance to other people out there, and generally just get all of these thoughts out of my brain. Question 4. Why do I love reading? Wow, that's quite a big question, really, to ask a reader. I guess reading is my escape and my adventure and my comfort all rolled into one in some ways. I have read for as long as I can remember. If I'm being totally honest, it's something that I've done for the entirety of my life, and it's not going to stop. I have a really busy life. I have a really busy job. I am a mum of a 3-year-old. I'm a wife, and I find that books help me reflect and take some time for myself, typically at the end of the day. Does that end of the day trip over into 3 o'clock in the morning? Usually, absolutely, but that's okay. Question 5. What book series got you into reading? Well, again, honesty is the best policy. I would love to say something really poetic, like, you know, one of the classics. Don't get me wrong, I love Jane Eyre, it's one of my favourite, and I am partial to the classics. I absolutely love Emma. But the book series that really got me into reading, if I was to be honest, is the Twilight Saga. Please don't come for me after watching this video. I think it was really probably one of the first book series that I read in its entirety, consecutively and very quickly as a young teenager. And I have to say, it's something that I would still consider as a comfort book, problematic as that might be. I still go back to it from time to time now. But yeah, Twilight. Next question. What challenges do I think I will face in trying to start a booktube, and how will I overcome them? Discipline, if I'm going to be totally honest. Again, setting myself time aside to actually film these bad boys and really focus on pushing out regular content and making it meaningful. I'll overcome these challenges by hopefully having my husband keep me on schedule in some ways, and also hopefully by the page being somewhat of a success and giving me that drive to actually keep going, I guess. When did I start reading? Again, I actually can't remember specifically when I started reading, because I've been reading for pretty much most of my life. I know that I was really early to reading, even as a child, and I was reading regularly, so thanks, Mum, for that. Where do I read? Now that is a fantastic question, and a really easy one to answer by stating where don't I read. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but it is the truth. I have a Kindle, I have books on deck in pretty much every single room of the house. I always have at least one paperback in any bag that I have with me, and my Kindle tends to go with me everywhere. I listen to audiobooks on the regular, and pretty much any format of reading that I can find out, I will do. Recently, my husband invested in a projector for our bedroom wall, so now I can read my Kindle on my bedroom wall. So the answer really is absolutely anywhere that I can get some time in to read. Last question. What kind of books do I read? Now, I'm a very, very eclectic reader, so what I will say is that I will read almost anything if somebody asks me to, or if I'm given the opportunity to. Historically, my favourite kind of genre was very firmly thriller and horror, with Stephen King being probably my favourite author of all time. As I've gotten older, my tastes have shifted slightly. I'm reading a lot of fantasy, a lot of contemporary romance, and a lot of romantasy. At the moment, I'm currently reading the Zodiac Academy series, For My Sins. That is a book series that is absolutely like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. And some people just absolutely cannot get past the Pegasus or Pegasi, however you want to word that. Personally, I'm absolutely loving the series. I love the supernatural fantasy element to it. So I would say my tastes are really firmly in that sort of space at the moment. Massive fan of the Empyrean series, although I have to say I felt like Onyx Storm was lacking in some ways. But will I be reading the next book? Absolutely. So to answer that question, I'll read anything really, but at the moment fantasy and romantasy is where I'm at. Also, I noticed that my door was randomly opening then. My house isn't haunted, I promise. It was my cat Jessie, who you may get to meet in a later video. We will see. Depends if she hangs around for long enough for me to be able to catch her. So that's a little bit more about me. Thank you for sticking around and getting to know me. Hopefully you'll get to know me a little bit more over the course of my next few videos in my series. If you've got any questions or comments, please add them below, and please also subscribe.